Okay. So the point I was actually making that how in the first canto we have Queen Kunti's prayers, and those prayers I felt like everyone could connect to those prayers, and like in all those prayers, like everyone felt like, oh, this verse is such a wonderful verse. So similarly, in this third canto, this ninth chapter is so beautiful. And as I know how much you heard me before, but I was actually making the point that Brahma is actually a Sampradaya Acharya, right? And he is actually the head of our Sampradaya. So he is actually, through his own example, showing us how we can actually, how he went through a journey of penance, of austerity, of connecting with Krishna, of offering prayers, and how he got darshan of the Lord, then how he is offering prayers to the Lord, and how the most, like one way I would say, relevant aspect for each one of us is that he has a service to perform, right? And he's actually praying to the Lord how he should actually execute the service, right? So we read Brahma's prayers. We completed that in a previous class. Today we'll see how Krishna is responding to those prayers, right? So Krishna is going to tell Brahma that, yes, I have a seva for you. And now I'm going to tell you how you should perform that seva, right? How you should perform that seva, okay? So does anyone remember any point from Brahmaji's prayers from our previous sessions?
The 4 points, Prabhu, like he was praying for empowerment.
Empowerment, okay, first point.
No pride.
No false ego. Like while I'm doing my seva, I should not have false ego that I am the doer, I am the creator, I am, the head. Yeah, okay. Third,
Third is
No
safe from deviation.
yeah,
And
save from deviation. And why deviation? Because we mentioned the point that Brahmaji has to do a task of creating so many living entities. And some of those living entities have like, different bodies and, some of them vicious living forms. All that Brahmaji has to do. His seva is not easy. So in that, he should not get deviated. And what was the point that actually came there? That the point actually Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that as long as we keep the spiritual sound vibration going, we will not be deviated from a seva, right? And hence, okay, that's the third point. And then what's the last point?
Reciprocation.
So we pray to the Lord to actually reciprocate, right? Show some form of reciprocation. That, when you're doing a seva, we may wonder that, okay, I'm doing my seva, trying to do my best, but is Krishna really pleased with my seva? That should be our question. Is Krishna really pleased? Or our Guru really pleased? So we pray for some form of reciprocation that while I'm doing the seva of Krishna, please, somehow, I feel some mood of reciprocation. I know that, okay, this is what I'm doing is pleasing to you. And hence I can enthusiastically continue my seva. Right? Okay. Okay, so we came up to verse number. Are there anything else anyone remembers?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have to pray our Lord that whatever obstacles in our in our devotional service, please remove it. So we just have to be humble and pray for that one. So for progress our devotional service.
Yeah, which verse are you referring, Mataji?
Last time we last talk about that one.
Yeah, so
We
that
did last 27, 28.
yeah, but that I think that point is particularly mentioned in text number 24 purport, right? And basically there Prabhupada makes a point that unless one is sufficiently protected by the Lord, he may fall down. Therefore, one has to pray constantly for the Lord's protection.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Right.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And then there in that purport, a very important point. The path of spiritual life is like the edge of a sharpened razor. A little inattentiveness may actually cause so much havoc. Therefore, while we are doing our service, always seeking for protection. So we'll discuss this point further today because Krishna is going to tell Brahmaji how he should actually perform his seva. Right? So we'll come back to that point. So thank you so much. So we'll continue. We so up to 25. Okay, also one more point is text 25 is the verse that we chant when we actually wake up the Lord. So I'm sure like everyone has some form of a puja room at home or deities at home. And when we are actually waking up in the morning, when you are ringing a bell, you can actually pray to the Lord. Chant text number 25. So sav adabra karuna bhagwan vividra prema smite nayana bhujram vijram uthaya vishwavijaya. Uthaya means wake up, right? So we are actually praying to the Lord. Please wake up, right? You are the most unlimitedly merciful. Please smilingly open your lotus eyes and dispel my sorrow by speaking, giving me direction of how I should act in this world. Okay. Then we discussed 26 is basically, after the prayers, Maitreya is actually telling Vidura that how did Brahma actually offer these prayers? Prayed for his mercy as far as his mind and words. So manaha, so yavat manaha vachaha. As far as his mind and words actually inspired, he got the inspiration, or as far as his limit of his words and his mind, he actually offered prayers to the Lord. Okay. And then after praying, he became silent as if he was tired from all his penance, his knowledge, and his concentration. And then in 27, 28, we see that how now Krishna's side, right? So now we are going to see from Krishna's side, and here is already said that how in 27, 28, the Lord saw that Brahma was very anxious. So the Lord is seeing that how Brahma has offered prayers and how is very anxious for this planning, construction of different planetary systems, and how Brahmaji was depressed seeing that, oh, all these devastating waters are there. How will I create inside the water? Like you can consider like and we already see such things, right? When sometimes they actually have to build a bridge across an ocean, and or they have an underground thing going. In New York, you have this underground which is actually beneath the ocean, right? And if someone does not have any knowledge, someone is saying, how can I do this? The ocean is so violent. I have to create something going underneath or a bridge over the ocean. Very difficult, right? So Brahmaji, imagine his task. He has to create, and this is like the devastating waters of annihilation. Like those waters are covered all over, and Brahmaji is seeing all those waters and saying, "How can I create?" So he's in anxiety. How can I do my seva? It's not easy for me. Hence, he was depressed, right? So Krishna could understand what is Brahma's intention, and thus he spoke in deep, thoughtful words, removing all the illusion that had arisen. So the word there is Kashmalam. Kashmalam means all the impurities, all the doubts, the hesitancy that Brahma has in this aspect of creation. Krishna, by speaking, actually removed all those anxieties, right? Okay, so now let's start with 29. So these are Brahmaji's, Krishna's response to Brahmaji. So 3 sections are there, 29 to 33. Let me quickly share my screen. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Yeah, okay. Sorry, yeah, fine. Okay, so let me just share my screen quickly here. Yeah. Okay, so we see, you can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so, okay. So we see there are 3 sections to these prayers. The first section is where the Lord is actually replying to Brahma. He's actually saying how he should actually perform the seva. So this is very, very, very practical for each one of us. We are engaged in devotional service, how we should actually execute devotional service. What should be our mood while we are executing, and how if we actually do devotional service in that mood, how we can actually attain the Lord attained perfection. So these verses from 29 to 33 is basically our mood of seva. And further also. And 34 to 40 says the Lord's mercy and benedictions, what he offers. Because Brahma has prayed for certain things, like let me not be deviated, not be affected by false ego. So now Krishna will say how he can actually be free from false ego and from deviation. And 41 to 43, he actually makes a very nice point, how he is actually the dearmost of all objects. Like he actually kind of reminds Brahma that what is finally the entire purpose of creation is actually to realize that everyone in the world realizes that the dearmost object or dearmost, of everyone is actually the Paramatma or the Lord himself, right? So how while doing creation, the whole purpose of creation, the Lord actually, he is reminding Brahmaji. Okay. So 3 sections. So we'll start with text number 29. Okay. Let's start.
Shikavanuvacha ma veda garbhagasthandrim sarga udyamam avaha tanmaya paditam yagre yanmam prartayate bhavan.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead then said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before. Hare Krishna.
So it's very nice that Krishna actually starts off by saying Ma Gas Gaha Dandrim. Tantrim. So basically what does Ma means? Do not, right? How we see in Ma Suchaha, do not worry, right? Ma. So Ma there refers to do not become what? Tandrim. Tandrim means become dejected. So Brahma was dejected. How can I do it? It seems impossible for me to do it. So Brahmaji is saying, no, do not become dejected or anxious, right? And then further he says, why? Veda Garbha. You have the depth of all Vedic wisdom, right? You have all the knowledge. Do not be discouraged. You have all the knowledge, right? So, okay, and then I'll continue and then I'll come back. So, Sarga Udyamam Avaha, right? Just undertake the creation of this world, right? Do not be worried that it will be a failure. Just do it, right? Just offer the seva. And then Agre means previously, Bhavan Prathayate. You had actually previously begged from me and Tat Maya Apaditam, So, again, we see the Yat Tat. Like previously, you actually prayed to me, and then that which you want has already been given by me. Like whatever you want, that knowledge for creation is already being given by me. Right? So I was thinking of this point, that how Krishna is actually starting off by telling Brahma that, okay, you have a seva, and he's saying Veda Garbha, that you yourself are the depth of Vedic wisdom. And practically, what does this mean for us? That actually, yes, humility is there, our mood of humility. Yes, we want to develop that mood of humility, but at the same time, also when we are doing a particular seva, we need to consider what gifts Krishna has actually given us. Krishna has empowered each one of us with certain gifts, certain skills, some gift we have received from Krishna. So yes, we are humble and we want to maintain that mode of humility, but at the same time, just to do our seva, someone needs to remind us, or we need to introspect and see what qualities that Krishna has given us and how I can use those qualities in seva to the Lord. Everyone can connect to that point. There is something like, someone may be good at singing, and now we can use that to sing kirtans. Someone may be good at writing, and maybe they can write some articles to back up Godhead. Or someone may be good at just connecting with people. They can come to a temple and connect with a new guest, just talk to people. So every one of us, we have certain skills that we can meditate on and see how those skills can actually be used in Krishna's service. So Krishna one way is encouraging Brahma. Brahma, you are Veda Garbha. You actually have the entire depth of Vedic wisdom. Then why are you anxious? I've already given you, I've already empowered you with the skills to do the task. So don't be anxious, right? So that's the question. Okay, so Prabhupada in the purport, he makes this in this point, he elaborates, he says, any person who has received instruction by the Lord or from the bona fide representative of the Lord, that person is already blessed, and the work entrusted to him is also blessed. Right. So as soon as we receive an instruction, and one way we may have specific instructions from a spiritual master. Oh, I want you to do this and this seva. But in general, we have general instructions to everyone from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has given us, we read his books and they're filled with instructions, and, Prabhupada, so many conversations. He clearly says what he wants us to do, how he wants us to develop our love for God and also preach Krishna consciousness. So how we can become a good devotee. So all those general instructions are there. But whenever, and the point Prabhupada is saying, that when we receive these instructions, that means that we are already blessed. Why? Because we have come in contact with a devotee who is giving these instructions to us. There's so many people in this world, but not, what percentage of people have come in contact with a representative like Srila Prabhupada? And how many of them have actually heard Prabhupada's instructions to all of us? So that means we are already blessed. And if we actually execute the seva, then again we are blessed. This seva itself is blessed, right? So when we are hesitating to do certain seva, we say, oh, instruction is there, and the seva is for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Then where is the question of inauspiciousness? Where is the question of anxiety? Right? And here, particularly in the Sanskrit also, we see he actually says, Sarga Udyama Avaha. Just undertake the creation of this world. Just do it. Like sometimes we may get some order from the spiritual master, and we think like, oh, this is so difficult. And then we may get doubts. Oh, am I really qualified to do it? Someone may say, okay, next Sunday you have to give the Sunday feast class. And immediately we'll be like, so many senior devotees, how can I do it? Am I really qualified? But if someone who actually knows you has given you this instruction, that means that the devotee actually knows. He knows that you actually have the knowledge, you have the skill to do it. So at that point, if the instruction has come and it's come from someone who knows us, who's our mentor, our guru, then that person, with that instruction, the empowerment has come. And at that moment, we should just pray to the guru and say, okay, you want me to do it? I'll do it. Just do it. Take away the hesitancy. The whole verse here is actually, if there's any hesitancy when we receive an instruction, take it away. Just have the mood of seva and just do it. Right? Just do it. Okay, so with instructions comes the empowerment to the person and to the service. So both these things, the person and the seva, both of them are actually empowered. Right? Okay. Then further, Prabhupada makes this point in this purport that while we are doing the service, and this comes in the next few verses also, 4 points he actually says. Right? And they're very practical points. What is the first point? While we are doing the service, we should always think that I am actually not capable of doing this service. We should be aware of our incapability of doing the seva. That actually, what qualification do I have? I don't have any qualification. But because the guru has given the instruction, and by that instruction, I'm empowered, I'm able to do it. So it's all Guru's mercy. But I myself, I'm incapable of doing this. So that's first point. Second point, because of that incapability, right? So one way when we are aware of our incapability, that should not create like a lack of confidence, but it should actually create a mood where we are actually always looking for the mercy of the Lord. We are always praying, Krishna, my guru wants me to do this seva, and I am not capable, but you please empower me, right? So we are always in a mood of prayer. So that's the second point, always looking for the mercy of the Lord. Third point, that we should not be puffed up. We should not be puffed up. That we should not think that, oh, there are so many disciples, but my Guru Maharaj has given me the instruction. I am so great. No. As soon as we are puffed up, then everything is over. So the fourth point is, if we take pride in doing the work and do not give the credit to the spiritual master and the Lord, then we will not be able to execute anything nicely. Right? So these are all, Prabhupada makes all these 4 points in the purport, and so practical points for us. So one is, While doing the seva, we are aware of our incapability, and that awareness should lead us to always have the mood of prayer. Then third, we should not be puffed up, and then fourth, we should not take pride in doing the work, but always give the credit to the Guru and to Krishna. Right? So these 4 points. Right? And when we actually receive a seva, we should actually consider that we are so fortunate that somehow my Guru, even though I'm unqualified, he has mercifully given me this opportunity to serve. So that should be right. Okay. So this first verse is basically before, and in the purport, Prabhupada is also talking about the mood while we are doing the seva. But the verse as such, Krishna is telling Brahmaji, what should be our mood before we do a seva? And what should be our mood? What are 2 points? What should be our mood? Before we, let's say you get an instruction. Okay, today afternoon, you have to give the Sunday feast class. Right? So what should be our mood then?
I am not capable, but I am empowered by my Guru.
Okay, so that is okay. So there are 2 sections I talked about. One is directly related to verse, and one is what is in the purport. So directly related to verse, what is Krishna telling Brahma?
Don't be anxious or depressed.
Yes. So the first point is don't be anxious. Why don't be anxious?
Because the mercy has already been granted, right?
Because Veda Garbha, why does he particularly call Brahma as Veda Garbha? Because he says you already have that. Right? So the points in this initial 2 points are don't be anxious, and we all have certain skills that Krishna has already given as a gift to us. Right? The instruction comes means the Guru and Krishna have seen that the skill has given to us, so we should not be anxious. And then once that all the hesitancy, we should take it away and say, okay, I'm just going to do it. Just do it. Instructions come, just do it. Right? Okay, so that is text number 29. So that is the main theme. And then in the purport, Prabhupada has talked about how the 4 points of while we are doing the seva. Now in the Krishna's conversation, we'll see while executing the seva, what should be our mood. So that's text number 30. Okay, go ahead.
Bhuyastvam tapa atishta vidyam chaiva madashrayam tabhyamanta ridi brahman lokan drakshyasya pavratan.
Hare Krishna. Translation: O Brahma, situate yourself in penance and meditation and follow the principles of knowledge to receive my favor. By these actions, you will be able to understand everything from within your heart. Hare Krishna.
Mhm. So if we are doing it, like in the previous verse, we have already talked about like what is our mood while we start doing it. So here Krishna is saying, by situating yourself in penance and knowledge. So before also, Brahma performed penance to actually see the Lord, right? But now he is actually saying, while you're doing your seva, you keep up that mood of penance and knowledge, tapa and vidya, right? So what does this actually mean? So okay, so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually says, when you talk of Vidyam and Tapaha, he actually says Tapaha means while doing your seva, you actually concentrate your mind. Don't focus on this and that. Okay, I'm doing my seva right now. I want to give complete attention to that seva, right? So while doing the seva, first is you concentrate your mind. That is the Tapaha. And second is principle Vidya. And there Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually means you worship through the mantra. While you're doing the seva, see if you can actually always keep chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In your mind, let the mantra go on. So when we talk of Vidya, here it actually refers to the chanting the mantra, worship through the mantra. So concentrating the mind, and second, keep the mantra actually going on. And do both of these how? Mad Ashraya, under my protection. So if you feel like, okay, I'm doing this seva, but I want to give 100% attention. Second point, I want to worship. I want to keep the Hare Krishna Mahamantra going on while doing the seva. And I'm doing this only under the shelter of the Lord. Mad Ashraya, under the shelter of the Lord. And then, if we do this, if that is our mode of executing seva, then what does Krishna say? Tabhyam. By performing the seva in this mood, antaha hridi, within your heart, you rakshasi, you will see, right? Lokan, apavritam. Everything will be revealed to you. If you're doing the seva in that mood, Krishna is saying, I will reveal the knowledge in your heart how to do the seva. So he's telling Brahma, Lokan, you will see how all the worlds are there, and once you see, then it's easy for you to create. If you get the knowledge, like let's say in the temple there is a need for a particular seva, like maybe someone wants to do, like let's take this example. Actually, the Palace of Gold in New Vrindavan, West Virginia. So that wasn't actually created by people who had complete knowledge of architecture and how the building should be. It was actually created by just the devotees who actually had uh, no knowledge of create like how to make a building, and it has so much like stained glass and the structure. They actually just went to the library, got a book, got the materials, and did the whole thing as an offering to Srila Prabhupada, right? So it is so amazing that, imagine like if someone tells you, okay, now this is what you want to do, make a whole building. Actually do the whole building, Don't take a contractor or anyone, architecture, you do the whole thing, right? And imagine like going to the library, you're starting to read. Is it possible? Very difficult. Just by reading a book, you cannot get the experience of like how to do things, But they did it. Why? Because they were doing this as an offering to Srila Prabhupada. And now we see like how such a beautiful structure they created, stained glass, and so nice, right? So they were actually empowered. So the point here is that if you are actually doing the seva in the particular points here, that is tapaha, which full concentration of mind, and then keeping the vidyam, keeping the mantra going, worshipping through the mantra, then Krishna will actually give the knowledge from within to do the seva. Right? We actually receive how Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I will give the knowledge from within how you can actually offer the seva. Right? Okay. And also here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, you will see in your heart and externally the planets. So in the heart, Krishna will reveal the knowledge, right? And also outside, you will actually see all the planetary systems. So if all the, it is there, blueprint is there, then you just have to go and put all the blocks together, just like we have this Lego, right? Lego. So if someone already gives you that, okay, this is the structure, I'm showing you this, you just have to take the pieces, put it together. Then it becomes easy, right? So similarly, Krishna is giving us the knowledge. So he's giving up the entire vision of the material world, and he's saying, once you have, then you can do it with ease, right? Okay. So particularly here in specific, like, we say Brahma is the creator, but Krishna has already, when he's saying showing, he's already showed how the planetary systems are situated. The sun is here, the planets are here, Bhumandala is here. He's showing everything. And Brahma just has to see, okay, this is already here. I just go and have to create the planets, but the blueprint is already there. So it's just like an architecture has already given the entire design. The contractor just has to go and pour cement and put the wood and glasses. So similarly, the architecture is Krishna himself, because he's already showing all the blueprints, and Brahma just has to go and fill in all the material ingredients. Okay. So Prabhupada in the purport, he says, such a beautiful sentence, the first sentence of the purport. The mercy the Lord bestows upon a particular person engaged in executing the responsible work entrusted unto him is beyond imagination. Beyond imagination. That means that if we are actually engaged in any kind of seva under the instruction of Guru, then how much empowerment we can get is actually beyond imagination. Like imagine Srila Prabhupada, like at the age of 70, single-handedly creating like a worldwide international society for Krishna consciousness, traveling around the globe 14 times, establishing 108 temple, going to Russia, going to South Africa, all parts of the world. How can anyone even do that? Unless there is empowerment. So the empowerment that comes, there is no limit to that empowerment. One can be empowered beyond one's imagination. And even practically, we may see, certain devotees, like we may have certain role models. We may say like, oh yeah, I knew him a few years back, and he was, and no, I won't say any names, but we know certain devotees. Like initially, they were just like coming to the temple, very simple, washing pots, and after a few years, now they're traveling all around the world, giving classes. Everyone loves his classes, and like, so we see that empowerment comes if we are actually doing the seva in the right mood. Right? Okay, and also Prabhupada says, but his mercy is received due to our penance and perseverance. Right? Yes, the mercy that we receive is beyond imagination. But when do we become qualified to receive the mercy? And Prabhupada says, we have to, by penance and perseverance, keep executing devotional service. Whatever the process is given, step by step, just keep going, keep executing with penance and perseverance. And then the directions will come from within. There's no necessity for anxiety, right? That's, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. So Prabhupada also quotes that verse 10.10. Okay. Okay, everyone up to this point? There's a lot in this verse. It's very practical, right? Okay, 31.
Tata atmani loke cha bhakti yukta samahitaha drashtasi mam tatam brahman mai lokam stam atmanaha.
Hare Krishna. O Brahma, when you are absorbed in devotional service, in the course of your creative activities, you will see me in you and throughout the universe, and you will see that you yourself, the universe, and the living entities are all in me. Hare Krishna.
So previous verses we read, having the right mood while executing seva. How do we know that we have the right mood? Right? So Krishna is actually telling how Brahmaji will know that you have the right mood while executing seva. And here he actually says, by executing seva. And how should that seva be? Bhakti yukta samahita. That means that seva should be completely absorbed in devotional service. Right? So when we are doing the seva, it's not that we are doing the seva and we are thinking of, oh, what is the cricket score going on? Right? I mean, that's not the, we are doing the seva, then that's just external seva, right? When we are doing the seva, bhakti yukta samahita, we should be completely absorbed while when we are doing the seva. And if you have the right mood, you're completely absorbed in devotional service, tataha, thereafter, how do we know that we are doing the seva in right mood? Drishta asi, you shall see. And what is telling Brahma, what will he see? Atmani and Loke. That means he will see, you will see Mam, right? So you will see me in yourself and also in the universe. Right? So what does this mean? How will Brahma see the Lord in the universe? Because again and again, the Lord is going to come in different avatars, right? And Brahmaji is going to see, right? He's going to see Krishna when he comes in the original form in this Vrindavan, showing all this past. And Brahma is going to see. You will see. So he's telling, so this is actually in response to Brahma's request that he not forget the Lord while he's doing the creation. Right? It's easy that we actually forget, that we get so busy with the seva that we actually forget the Lord. So here Brahma has requested that please let me not forget you while I'm doing creation. So here Krishna is saying, no, you will not forget. Why? Because you will see me again and again when I come again and again in different avatars, incarnations. Right? So that's one point. Second point, he said, Lokan tvam atmana mai, in me. Right? Tatam, spread throughout, all pervading. You will see the universe, you will see yourself, and you will see all living entities in me. So what does this mean? When does Brahma see the universes? He will see Brahma himself and all living entities inside Krishna. Anyone can say?
Is it referring to universal form?
Universal form is also implied in this verse when it says that's actually, you shall see me in yourself. Yeah, So universal form is also implying, but this particular, the second part where it says Lokan, Tvam and Atmana in me, that is one particular special reference here.
Brahma Viman Lila, Mridbhakshan Lila.
Yes, okay, one is the Brahma, Vimohan and Leela, right? That, and then here particularly Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying this refers to when Krishna actually ate dirt. When Krishna ate dirt and Mother Yashoda asked Krishna to open his mouth, inside the mouth, what did Mother Yashoda see? She saw all the planetary systems. And then she saw everything, and she saw herself inside Krishna, inside the mouth, and she saw Krishna also inside the mouth, right? So here, because we are talking of this particular day of Brahma, and this particular day is a special day because Krishna, what does Brahma see? He sees the cowherd form of Krishna, right? So this particular day, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that as Mother Yashoda saw in the mouth of Krishna everything, similarly you will see the same thing. You will see the universe, you will see all living entities, you will see that in Krishna, in me, right? So, Prabhupada's purport refers to that one. So, what will Brahma's vision be during creation? One, he'll see Lord Krishna because he's going to come. He himself will descend from Goloka Vrindavan as he did in this Divya Yuga. So, first, Lord Krishna. Second, Brahma Vimohan Lila, as Gopinath Acharya Prabhu said. Brahma will see how the Lord is expanded when the word says Tatam, all pervading. When after the Brahma Vimohan Lila, Brahma was bewildered. He came and he saw all the cowherd boys, the gopas, the calves. Everyone has become the four-handed Vishnu form, right? So he will see how the Lord has expanded himself into all the calves and cowherd boys. Second. Third, Yashoda's mouth. All the universes and planetary systems, everything inside the mouth, inside Krishna, right? Fourth pastime. This is all the pastimes that Brahmaji is going to see. And what is the fourth pastime? He will see how, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this pastime is there, right? When Brahma actually comes to Dwarka once, and he comes to the gate, and the gatekeeper asks, and Brahmaji says, please tell the Lord that I have come, right? Brahmaji has come. And the gatekeeper goes and tells Vishnu, oh, Brahmaji has come. And Vishnu asks, which Brahma? And the gatekeeper comes and asks, which Brahma are you? Which Brahma? I am the Brahma, the creator. Who else is there? Right? And then the gatekeeper allows him. Brahma comes, he offers obeisances, and the Lord says, oh, how is everything going in your task of creation? He said, I'll tell you all that, but first tell me, why did you ask which Brahma? Are there other Brahmas? And immediately the Lord actually invited all the Brahmas, all the Shivas from different planetary systems. And Brahma saw, right, when he says that you will see me, Brahma saw that he saw the Brahmas with like 100 heads, 1,000 heads, million heads, and he was just one insignificant Brahma. So even this pastime is actually being referred to this in this verse. So many pastimes of how during the entire day of creation, Brahma is going to have darshan of the Lord, see the Lord, see himself in the Lord, see how all the universes are within the Lord. All that darshan is going to come, right? And if someone is while doing seva, seeing the Lord directly, then how can he forget the Lord? Right? How can you forget the Lord? So that is how Krishna is assuring that while doing creation, you will not forget me because you will again and again see me and see all this, right? So these 4 points pastimes have been referred to in this verse.
Sorry, Prabhuji, can you again see what was the first point?
First is Krishna himself as different avatars, right? Second is Brahma, Vimohan and Leela. Third is in Yashoda's mouth. And fourth is how millions of Brahmas he will see.
Thank you.
Right? So how does this practically apply to us? Can anyone think? So for Brahmaji, Krishna has said that you will see me. But when we are doing a pastime, how can we be, pastime. When we are doing the seva, how can we be, have that, assurance in our mind that we will not forget Krishna while we are doing a seva? I mean, it's easy, right? I mean, particularly like you're doing a seva, you're organizing something like Rath Yatra we had and you're decorating and you're so busy and you're just thinking, oh, this cloth has to go here and this has to go here, and then maybe the tires need air. Like you're thinking so much. How can you be assured that you'll not forget the Lord while you're doing the seva? Anyone have any thoughts?
Which we can get the Maha Mantra going, the transcendental sound vibration going.
That's certainly a very nice point, that we have the Maha Mantra going. Yes.
Another point is that Guru is also a representative of Krishna.
Okay, so
So then the Guru, for example, during the Rath Yatra, Guru Maharaj is already there, so we can see.
okay, so if the Guru is directly there, then that is, that makes it very different, because you're actually seeing the Guru and you're doing it directly for the pleasure of the Guru. Karuna Mata, if you have any points, please feel free to share. Yes, you're also a part of our group, so anything you have, please feel free to share. Anyone else? Yeah, Vijay.
Thinking that, oh, by the mercy of the Lord, I am able to do this service to the Lord.
Mhm. Okay, feeling that mood of gratitude that yes, it's Krishna's mercy. Right, all these points are very nice. Like I was actually particularly thinking that while we are doing a seva, yes, you can think about the gratitude, how Krishna has given me the seva. He's so kind, We need to like connect with like the personal, like form and qualities of the Lord, Like many times while the Maha Mantra is going, we may actually hear the Maha Mantra. That's very nice. But we may still not connect to Krishna as a person. Because our mind is so, we just get, I guess, always like the Maha Mantra should always go on, but we have to personally connect with Krishna. So I was thinking that while we are doing the seva, yeah, we actually think that, oh, Krishna is so kind. I am so fallen, right? We mentioned that point, and we actually say that I am not capable of doing this, but somehow Krishna has actually empowered me. He is allowing me to do seva. He is so kind. I am the most sinful, but he is actually kindly engaged me. Who can be more kind? So thinking of the form, the qualities of the Lord, so that can be a constant thing. And also, while we are doing the seva, seeing Krishna's hand in how the seva is actually going on. That is the main point that I was thinking. That, while we are doing the seva, we may have certain that, oh, we have to do the seva, we forgot to bring this. Right? We forgot to bring so and so, and this is required for the seva, or you're cooking something and like, oh, I forgot to order, ask them to bring, so and so vegetable or yogurt or milk. I forgot this. Without this, how will I do it? And you will see, like, it's so many times it happens that all of a sudden someone comes and say, oh, I just wanted to donate some milk to the temple. Can I give it here? And it's like, oh, and you see Krishna's hand, how he's actually there. Helping us while the seva is going on. So that way also we can always meditate and keep our eyes open for Krishna's reciprocation while doing the seva. Right? So that's another point. Okay. So, right. Okay, so that is 31. So let's proceed. 32.
Yada tu sarvabhuteshu darushvagnim ivastitam pratichakshitamam loko jayataryeva kashmalam. Ravindra Prabhu.
Ravindra Prabhu, can you read?
Yeah, Prabhu, I'm just trying to unmute myself. Yeah, just a minute. Okay. I lost that chapter. Actually, I just had opened it up. Yeah, it went. 32. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, you're loud and clear. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You will see me in all living entities as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to free from all kind of illusion.
So Brahma also prayed that while I'm doing my seva, I not be deviated from the seva, right? and there may be no deviation. Or one way he's also, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is making the point that Brahma has prayed that he would avoid any kind of sin, and not forget his relationship with the Lord while he's doing the seva. So in response to that, Krishna is actually saying here, yada, when, right? Prati chakshita, right? When you will see me in sarva bhuteshu and lokaha, right? So Vamsi Gopal Prabhu had mentioned the point about universal form. So that actually comes here, where Krishna is saying that when you will see me in sarva bhuteshu, in all living entities. How can Brahma see Krishna in all living entities?
The Paramatma.
That's the Paramatma. Yes. Okay. So I just want to see everyone awake. So when you will see me in all living entities as Paramatma and in all universes, in all loka. How is that? Universal form, right? So when you will see this, tahir, then at once, so it says Jayat Kashmalam. Kashmalam, again that word Kashmalam has come. Previously also we read the word Kashmalam, right? Kashmalam means all your illusion, all your impurities will actually go away. Right? So there'll be no cause of contamination while you're doing the seva if, when you will actually see me in all living entities and see me in all the universes. And what is the example here? Darushu. Darushu means fire. How fire is situated in wood, right? So there are different kinds of woods. You may have sandalwood, you may have teak wood, you may have this wood, that wood. But still, in all the different forms of wood, fire is there. The same fire is present, isn't it? Right? The same fire is there in all different kinds of woods, right? So similarly, in all the different forms of living entities that you're going to give the body, in all of them, the same Paramatma is situated, right? So he's actually making the point that if you actually have this vision, that yes, I'm creating this body, some of the bodies which are more vicious, like all these bodies, but even within the body, if you see, finally, Paramatma is seated right there. If you see that, then you will not be bewildered. Right? This is a very practical point. I'll go through the verse and I'll come more into the practical point also. So here in purport, Prabhupada says, one should not think of existing without a relationship with his omnipotency. Right? So basically a point that within all the spirit soul, all the living entities, all the different bodies, Lord is situated as Paramatma. That means what? The potency of the Lord is distributed all over. Right? Even in Chatushloki, if you remember, what is the second Chatushloki verse? Anyone remembers? Where Krishna actually tells Brahmaji that he says that if you see anything in this material world without a relationship with me, then what is that? That is Maya. That is Maya, right? That is just illusion. So similarly, the same point is there here. So Krishna is telling Brahma that anything you see in this material world, if you're seeing that without a relationship with me, that is illusion. So if you want to stay away from illusion, then everything in this material world, see that always in relationship with me. Right? See, when you see other living entities, even though you're giving the body, see that, oh, I am seated in the heart of every living entity. Okay, and this transcendental knowledge alone can save one from the contamination of material illusion. Right? Okay. So practically, what does this mean for us? So there are 4 points here when we are actually interacting with this material world. Right? One is, what is our vision towards things? Right? So maybe I'll just mention the 4 and then you can tell me what should be our vision. While we are doing a seva, what should be our vision with so many different items, things? Anyone wants to say?
What was the question?
The question is like, so we are talking of like Krishna is telling Brahma that while you're doing this entire creation, you see me everywhere, right? You see me everywhere. So how do we see there are so many things in this material world, and we could get attracted to these things in a whole mode of enjoying, right? So when we see things, what should be our vision towards all these things?
This is
Energy
all
of the Lord.
Go ahead, Govinda Prabhu.
Energy of the Lord. All
Okay,
these
we can see that yes, they are all the energy of the Lord. And which verse can we meditate on? Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. You know, that's a nice verse. And there are other verses also that we can meditate. But when we see anything, then we see, oh, this is anyway the energy of the Lord. Hence, it should be used in the service of the Lord. Right? This is Krishna is the proprietor of this thing. Hence, I should actually use it in the service. So that is thing. Second thing, second of those 4 points is relationships. Right? When we see any relationship, then we see the relationship with Krishna in the center of the relationship. That yes, because I have this relationship with so and so person, but why is the relationship there? Because Paramatma is in our heart. Because without Paramatma, where is the question of our existence? Right? So Krishna as the center of all relationships. And in the relationship, when I'm exchanging some emotion in that relationship, then within that relationship, I want to exchange that relationship in such a way that service to Krishna is actually kept as a priority. Like together, we want to serve Krishna. That's second relationship. Third is circumstances. So Prabhupada mentions this point that a devotee, he never forgets the touch of the Lord in all circumstances. Right? So in all circumstances, we should see, oh, finally, who is the cause of all causes? Yes, there is some immediate cause, some intermediate cause. But finally, who is the cause of all causes? Krishna. So even every circumstance, we can see Krishna's hand in every circumstance. Right? And the fourth thing is nature. Right? Nature. We see the nature and how, and I know how many of you attended, there was this class on Krishna meditations by Mother Urmila. While in the nature, we see, oh, this is this blue sky. Oh, this is actually Krishna's color, and so on. Right? So that way, these four things, relationship, circumstances, and nature. In all these, we try to connect with Krishna. And if we are able to make that connection, then while we are doing all the services in the material world, we will actually not be deviated from our seva. Like how in that, just share my screen, one of the wonderful verses from Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada gives such an excellent purport to that, is the verse 630, right? Yomam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati, tasyaham na pranishami, sacha me na pranishati. So this is actually almost similar to the instruction that Krishna is telling Brahma. Then one who sees me, Yomam pashyati sarvatra, everywhere, sarvam cha mai pashyati, and sees everything in Krishna, I am never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me. Right? So Prabhupada in the purport, such a nice purport. It's just one paragraph. You can see my screen, right, everyone? So, okay.
Yes.
Okay. A person in Krishna consciousness certainly sees Lord Krishna everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature. Right? So it's not that when we are seeing the world, we are seeing, oh, this tree, we are seeing Krishna there. No, we are seeing the thing, we are seeing the separate manifestation, but in each and every instance, he's conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is Krishna's energy. Oh, this tree, oh, that's an energy of Krishna. This thing is Krishna's energy, right? So we discussed that point. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Basic principle of Krishna consciousness. The basic, to start off is nothing can exist without Krishna. Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Krishna consciousness is a development of love of Krishna. A position transcendental even to material liberation. At this stage of Krishna consciousness, beyond self-realization, the devotee becomes one with Krishna in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee, and the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. An intimate relationship between the Lord and devotee then exists. In that stage, the living entity can never be annihilated, nor is the personality of Godhead ever out of sight of the devotee. Right? So this is exactly, this paragraph is so beautiful, but this is exactly the instruction that Krishna is actually telling Brahma. Right? Okay. So, hence Krishna has told Brahma, if you do this, then you will actually, while doing the creation, you will not forget me. Right? So these verses, these last two verses, 31 and 32, is both the result and also the sadhana. What do I mean by that? That if you're doing the seva in the right mood, then you will see Krishna's hand everywhere. Right? And also, this is sadhana in the sense that while we are doing a seva, we see everything in this vision. So it is sadhana and also sadhya. It is a process and it is also the goal. Okay. Okay. Next verse, 33. Right. So if we are doing the seva with all these points, then finally, what is the result? 33 is the final result there. Go ahead.
Yadarahitam atmanam bhutendriya gunashayai surupena mayopetam pashyan swarajyam richati. When you are free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are free from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you will be situated in pure consciousness.
So if we are doing devotional service in this mood, so from text 29 up to 32, like 4 verses, if you are doing it in that way, then what is the result? Yada rahitam. Then you'll become free from bhuta indriya. Bhuta means material elements. Indriya means material senses. That means the conception of the gross and subtle body. I'm not this body, I'm not my senses, right? And then guna ashraya. You will actually get free from the influence of the gunas. Gunas means the 3 modes of material nature, right? So you get free if when you're free with all this, then what will happen? Swarupena maya, right? You will actually realize your swarupa. If you're doing devotional service in that mood, you will realize your swarupa, right? Your pure form in my association. And upetam pasyan swarajyam richati. Upa means, like in Upanishad, what does upa mean?
Sitting next.
Yeah, sitting next, close, right? So upetam means one will see one's close relationship. Pasyan means to see. Swarajyam, you will actually see one's close relationship with Krishna, right? And that actually Swarajyam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually explains. That means we will see a Swarup in one of the 4 rasas. Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. One will actually see that Swarajyam. One will see his real Swarup in relationship with the Lord. Right? And that's basically our perfection, right? We actually attain our real form. So one way, if you say the first Swarupena, right? So that's Swarupena and Swarajya. So one Swarupena, the first Swarupena means, if you see in all these, okay, that's 5, but 4 are the main. We'll stress on these 4. In all these 4, what is the common principle? The common principle is that of Dasya, servitude. Right? In Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, the common principle is Dasya. So the first Swarupena refers to that one will realize that I am actually an eternal servant of Krishna. Right? One will actually realize that Swarup. And beyond that, Swarajya means in that mood of servitude, maybe someone has a mood of Sakhya or Madhurya. So one will realize even that. Okay. So Prabhupada in the purport, he actually quotes from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He says, only desire is to render loving service to the Lord. Then, if our, Anya Vilasita Sunyam, then what will happen? We will become, we'll attain our true Swarup. Right? And then further he quotes Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Where it says, real spiritual form of a jiva is eternal relationship. Jivera Swarup hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das. Right. Further, Prabhupada says how the service of the Lord is based on transcendental love. Okay. So Prabhupada compares, like in the material world, a servant may serve some master, right? Or we are serving our own senses. But how is that experience of service? It's normally not so good. You don't do your work and immediately the work master says and says, oh, you're horrible. Like, what kind of work you're doing? You're lazy, you're this and that. Or we try to serve our senses. We're trying to serve our senses, but are the senses ever satisfied? No. So we are serving our master, but the master is always punishing us. So what kind of service attitude is that, right? So we realize in the material world, that mode of service is just, leads to frustration. But the service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is actually out of transcendental love, right? So there, the service is not forced. In this material world, we are forced to work, right? If there's an option that, okay, I will give you a paycheck, you don't have to work. Then we're like, oh, sure. Why should I work? I don't want to work under so-and-so person. If I'm getting a paycheck, I'm happy. So we are forced to work in this material world. But as soon as the service mood is turned to Krishna, and because Krishna is Swaraj, even the servitor becomes Swaraj. He becomes free from the bondage of this material world. And that's why this verse is saying one gets free from what? All the Bhuta, Indriya, and Guna, right? We also become free, right? In that mood of service. And Prabhupada says, this we can see this mood of the spontaneous love, this mood of spontaneous service in this material world, in the relationship between mother and son. Right? It's not force, it's just out of love. Or Prabhupada says a wife and husband, and so on. So wherever we see that mood of relationship or service which is not forced, that is actually a glimpse of our real service to Krishna. Okay. So yeah, so this is the first section over that we have covered, and then we'll continue with section number 2. Right? So let's see what all points we have learned. Let's do a quick review. There's so many wonderful points. I'm going slow from the section because this is how we should actually do our seva. Krishna is telling Brahmaji, this is the mood, this is the attitude, and if you can do that, then you'll realize your swarup. So everything is there in these verses, right? So let's see. Okay, what points you would like to share? Can you please share one point that you liked in this verses?
Service itself is the blessing.
Service itself is a blessing. Yeah. When we are engaging in service, we have that mood of like, oh, I'm so fortunate that I'm being blessed with this service. Thank you.
Mercy of the Lord is beyond imagination, and this mercy is received through penance and perseverance.
Okay, next point.
Krishna becomes everything for the devotee, and the service which is not force is the glimpse of our real service.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, so anything else? We discussed so many points, right?
When we do
What is our mood of seva? Yeah.
when we're doing service, we should be constantly chanting the Maha Mantra, and everything should be in the mode of service.
Okay.
And always remembering the mercy of the Lord.
Nice, very nice. Thank you.
I like the we all have the instruction for Srila Prabhupada, the general instructions for Srila Prabhupada, and so we're so blessed to have those instructions, and so there should be no question of anxiety or hesitancy, because just having that instructions, we're empowered by the spiritual master, and even though we feel incapable, we should take that as a chance to always pray to Krishna for for empowerment, but we don't feel lack of confidence. We just do it because we know that we're being given this chance to do this service.
Nice, very nice. So this is the first test 29, right? The mood first. You get the instruction, then our mood is what you said. That basically we say that, okay, Krishna has given some gift, right? And the Guru has seen the gift and he has given that instruction based on some quality that he has given me, right? So with that mood, we give up the hesitancy and we just take up the seva, right? And right, and then we just do it, take away our doubts, we just do it. But while we are doing our seva, we are always praying to Krishna, understanding that I am not capable, I'm incapable of doing the seva, but it's only because of the mercy of the Guru and Krishna that I'm doing the seva, and hence all the credit goes to who? The Guru and Krishna, because they have empowered me. I have no qualities. They have given the instruction, they have given the empowerment, so credit goes back to them, right? And while we are executing the seva, what is our mood? What are 2 things that we should do? Actually, 3 things.
We should concentrate our mind 100%.
Yes, so that's the first thing, tapaha. Tapaha means when we are giving the seva, Okay, 100%. We are not thinking that, like it could also be like, one is like, what will I get from the seva? Now, if I do this seva, people will say, oh, he's so good. He has done so and so, recognition, all those we want to, 100%. Tapaha, right? We do that. And second point,
Vidyam, keep chanting the mantra while doing
worshipping through the mantra. Okay. And what third point?
everything will be revealed. The
Okay,
Dharmic.
no. Okay, you went ahead. But in the same verse, the third point is what? Mad Ashraya. That we actually always remember that we are doing this under the protection. So Tapaha and Vidyam is just done under Mad Ashraya. Always we are under the shelter of the Lord. Right? So that's next. Okay. Then if we do that, then what will happen? What will be the result if you are doing that? What's the result?
Everything will be revealed. The Dharmic.
Yes, so Krishna will give us the knowledge in our heart how to do the seva. Right? Krishna will give us the knowledge how to do the seva. Then further, then if we are, when we are doing this, then while doing the seva, we should develop the right mood, or this is a gift of doing the seva in the right mood. And what is that? That one will actually see that he will see that Krishna is present everywhere in the creation. Krishna is everywhere. His energy, relationship. One will see the touch of the Lord in every circumstance. Right? Yomam Pashyati Sarvata. Everything is actually Krishna's. Krishna's energy, hence everything should be used in Krishna's service. And then 4 points we talked about how we can see everything, every relationship, every circumstance, and the nature itself in connection with Krishna. Right? So we develop that transcendental vision. Actually, there is one section. Let's see. Okay, then I'll come back to the section. Yeah. Okay. I'll quickly refer. This comes later in third canto. In third canto, chapter number 29. This is verse number 21 to 26. Right? So there, Kapila Muni is actually instructing his mother on devotional service, and he actually makes the point that he actually says that how our obstacles in bhakti can actually be taken out. Right? So we may be facing certain obstacles, but how can the obstacles be taken out? And that he actually refers to the point that if actually someone sees, like if we are actually seeing Krishna in the heart of every living being as the super soul, then through that we will actually give up any hatred or any criticism, and in that mood, right, one will actually see the Lord in his own heart, and one should perform prescribed duties. Right? Yeah, and then through charity, respect, friendly behavior, and equal vision, one should worship the Lord, and in that way we can actually overcome our obstacles in bhakti. So this developing this transcendental vision while we are doing the seva actually helps us overcome obstacles in bhakti. Right? So you can refer to that section 329, 21 onwards. Okay. Right, and then we discuss Yomam Pashyati Sarvata. Yeah. Okay, so that is this section. And if we are doing all this, our whole life is meant to be engaged in devotional service. So if we are doing this in a proper mood, then what will happen? What is the final result one will attain?
Swarup.
One will actually understand his own Swarupa, and the Swarupa will actually be revealed as, first of all, we realize, oh, I am an eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa, Krishnera Nitya Das. So that mood of Dasya will become prominent in our life. And beyond that, then our true relationship, either in Vatsalya, Madhurya, whatever is that mood, that will be revealed to us. And so Krishna is telling Brahma that your Swarup will actually be revealed when you serve me in this way. Okay, so that is section number 1. Should we continue section 2? Okay, any other points, questions up to this point? Okay, let's continue. 34 to 40.
Text 34. Nana karma vitanena praja bhavi sisrikshataha natma vasidat yasmin ste varshiyan mad anugraha. Priyanka Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Since you have desired to increase the population innumerably and expand your varieties of service, you shall never be deprived in this matter, because my causeless mercy upon you will always increase for all time. Hare Krishna.
A nice verse. So we see, what is it? Mat anugraha. Anugraha, we see this word again and again. What does anugraha mean? Causeless mercy, right? By my causeless mercy, what will happen? It says nana karma vitanena prajaha bhavi. So when you are actually engaged in this service of expanding the varieties of your Prabhupada says expand your varieties of service. When you're doing that, right, when you're expanding your service by creating all these living entities, then what will happen? Right? Na atma ava sidati asmin. You will never be bereaved in this matter. You will never be deprived of seva. Right? This is actually for a sadhaka. What is the most important thing? What's the most important thing for us as sadhakas?
Always engaged in the service of the Lord.
Okay, so the service aspect that, for a devotee to lose his opportunity to serve is actually the greatest loss. So one is that mood of seva. So Krishna is telling Brahma, if you're doing this, you're expanding your seva, then you'll never be deprived of seva. You will always have the opportunity to serve me, right? The service will never be taken away from you. That's one thing. And then further he says, rather your service will actually increase, right? Rather your service will always increase. So Varishan Mad Anugrah, Varshiyan means always increasing. So if you are actually engaging in that service with the right mood, with that mood of, the previous verses, what we read, then I will give you my mercy in such a way that your service will actually expand, will increase, and you'll never be deprived of that service. Right? And then also he says, my causeless mercy upon you will always increase. So not only the service increases, but the mercy of the Lord also increases. All right. So Prabhupada in the purport actually says, a pure devotee of the Lord always desires to expand the number of devotees. And desire plans may appear material, but different potencies, they are engaged in satisfaction of the transcendent service of the Lord, right? So what does this mean? So Prabhupada says, plans for such activities may appear to be material activities, but they are different in potency, being engaged in the satisfaction of the transcendental senses of the Supreme, the last sentence in the purport. So, okay, so what does this mean in the purport, and also practically what does this mean for us, right? So Prabhupada is actually making the point that what is a devotee's vision? That he sees, because he's seeing everything in relationship with Krishna, then what does he want to do? Somehow or other he wants to connect everyone with Krishna, right? It's natural. He sees like, oh, this is a part and parcel of Krishna. She, a part and parcel of Krishna. Then he wants to connect everyone with Krishna, right? So he wants to increase the family of devotees. That is the natural. As we grow in our Krishna consciousness, our mood of compassion, true compassion to everyone should actually increase, right? We want to connect everyone to Krishna. So that's the point. And then in that while we are trying to increase the number of devotees, trying to preach Krishna consciousness, many times we may be engaged in certain activities, like someone may be doing accounting, and now writing the finances of a temple, so much money came in, so much went out, and someone may use like some kind of tools, and one may see that and saying like, you're doing all that. I do the same thing at work. What is the difference? Right? What is the difference? But here Prabhupada is saying, no, this is completely different. Though externally it appears that someone is actually doing accounts here, someone is doing accounts here. Or someone is driving a car, someone is driving a car. Externally it may seem the same, but they are completely opposite, because the activities which are done with the desire to offer seva is actually under a total different potency. We are under the internal potency of the Lord. not under Maya Shakti. They are actually materialists, they do the things, but they are under the influence of Maya Shakti. We are under Krishna's Devi Shakti, right? Under Krishna's internal potency. So potency is completely different. And that's what Prabhupada is actually making the point, because we are trying to do a seva. Why? What is our motivation? The motivation for them, for the materialists, is actually we want to earn more, we want to grow our business. I want to see how much money came in this year so that next year I will double, right? So I can get a bigger car, bigger house, all those, right? But what is the motivation for a devotee? The only motivation is, how is this giving pleasure to the Lord? Right? So it's a nice meditation. So practically for us, can think about this, that every year, maybe that is the time when your guru's Vyas Puja is there, and that's normally a time when we write like a Vyas Puja offering to our Guru Maharaj, and the offering, if you see like how different Prabhupada disciples, they write Vyas Puja offering to Prabhupada, we see the mood, in general, we'll see the mood is, they're actually saying, oh Prabhupada, this year, that means from this Vyas Puja to the previous Vyas Puja, this is the services I have done, and when you are actually expressing, it is also one way saying, okay, this is what I did this year, and next year I want to increase so and so, right? So every year there should be one time, maybe that's your Guru Vyas Puja, or sometimes if you go to Vrindavan or the Dham every year, maybe at that time when you're going to the Dham, you're going to Guru Prabhupada, and you're actually revealing, oh, this is a seva we offered this year. Next year we want to increase. So the constant meditation of a devotee should be, how can I increase my seva year after year? Year after year. So that's basically here the point that Krishna is telling Brahma, that if you're doing a seva, you're expanding, then your seva will never be taken away, and you will increase in your seva, and the mercy in the form of more opportunity to serve will keep increasing. So there should be one time of a year where we actually analyze, what are our services? What are we offering? And then at the time we meditate, next year, how much more? What more can I do? What more can I do? So it's very nice point, very practical. So this point is expanding our seva, right? Attracts the mercy of the Lord. Attracts the mercy of the Lord is always there, right? And it's also practical. Otherwise, years and years in Krishna consciousness goes away. And what is the seva we are doing? We're doing the same seva which we were doing the first year. We need to grow. We need to increase our seva, right? So we have to meditate on this point. Okay, that's this practical point of this. 35.
Rishim adyam na badnati papiyam stvam rajo gunaha yanmano mai nirbadham praja samsrijato pite.
Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You are the original Rishi, and because your mind is always fixed on me, even though you will be engaged in generating various progeny, the vicious mode of passion will never encroach upon you. Hare Krishna.
So, what was Brahma worried about? I am in charge of what? Mode of passion. I have to create, right? So Brahma was worried that if I'm actually engaged in this mode of passion, then will I myself not be affected by that mode? So here Krishna is making the point. Rishim Adyam, you are the first original Rishi. Right? Na bandhati, right? So bandhati means bound. You will not be bound by the mode of passion. Rajaha gunaha. Right. Tvam rajaha gunaha na badnati. You will not be bound by the mode of passion or affected by the mode of passion. Why? Yet because manaha mai nirbadham. So that's the main key words in this verse, that your mind is always manaha mai unto the Lord. Nirbadham. Nirbadham means it is fixed, always fixed. It is like hooked upon the Lord. The mind is always connected with the Lord. Since your mind is always fixed on me, in spite of praja shishtava, in spite of creating all these progeny, interacting with the mode of passion will not bind you. Right? So So, right. So Prabhupada in the purport makes this point. He says Brahma's schemes and plans are all infallible because he's actually, offering the seva, which is, the Lord's desire that the seva be actually engaged. Brahma is following the order of the Lord. Prabhupada says Brahma's schemes and plans are all infallible. But then one may question, but in the 10th canto, wasn't Brahma bewildered by seeing the Brahma Vimohan Leela? So Prabhupada actually explains that point, that that aspect was not actually he affecting by the Rajaguna, but it was actually Brahma bewildered seeing the internal potency of the Lord, the internal energy of the Lord. And this is actually for Brahma's further advancement in devotional service. So it wasn't like he's affected by the mode of passion and he's fallen down. He was bewildered seeing the entire pastime, but that was just to increase his devotion to the Lord. So what does this mean practically for us? So while we are doing the seva, if we are manaha mai nirbadam, your mind is always fixed in Krishna, always fixed. In Bhagavad Gita, which is the verse? Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekehe guru nandana. If we have that vyavasika, one-pointed intelligence. And what does Prabhupada say? Prabhupada said, when I read the purport for this verse, then I decided that my only mission in life is to somehow or other fulfill the instruction of my spiritual master. And what is the instruction of spiritual master? That you should preach Krishna consciousness all around the world. When Prabhupada read that verse and the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he was like, okay, that's it. That should be manaha mai nirbadam. My mind is always fixed on that one thing. How through my service can I actually give pleasure to the Lord? And how can I actually increase the pleasure of the Lord by increasing my seva, both quantity and quality? And that's the whole absorption. The one-pointedness is actually, how am I giving pleasure to the Lord? And how can I increase that pleasure to the Lord, both quantitatively and qualitatively? Okay. Text 36.
Gyatoham bhavatai twadya durvigyeyopi dehinam yanmam tvam manyase yuktam bhutendriya gunatmabihi. Karuna Mataji.
Although I am not easily knowable by the conditioned soul, you have known me today because you know that my personality is not constituted of anything material, and specifically not of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements.
So he says, Gyatoham bhavata tva adya. Right? So if we are actually doing the seva in that mood, we are always focused on that one-pointed expanding of our services, then you will actually know Krishna. Right? Know Krishna in truth, tattvataha. And he says, Gyata aham bhavato, which is actually vigyeha. Normally it is very difficult to understand the Lord, but the Lord will actually be known to you, right? You will actually understand. And how will you understand the Lord? Ayuktam, and 4 things. Bhuta, Indriya, Guna, Atmabhi. That you will actually understand that the Lord's form is not constituted of Bhuta, material elements, Indriya, material senses, Guna, material modes, and Atmabhi, false ego. You will understand how the Lord is completely transcendental. And then what Krishna says, Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yoveti Tattvataha. You will actually understand Krishna in Tattvataha. So we make this point that, how can we know God? Through devotional service. So while we are doing the seva in this mood, with a mood of always increasing our seva, then Krishna is pleased. And through that, when Krishna is pleased, he will reveal himself to us. So Krishna is saying, Brahma, you do the seva in this mood, and I will actually be revealed to you. You will actually understand me in truth. So Prabhupada in the purport makes a point. He says, knowledge of the Supreme Absolute Truth does not necessitate negation of material manifestation, but understanding of spiritual existence as it is. Right? So what does this mean? Then normally we say okay, material existence means forms, right? If you want to understand any object in this material world, then you see, okay, this is how it looks. This is made of metal. This is made of so and so. This is the property of this object, right? So material understanding is through form. And hence, people actually say that hence spiritual should be formless. But that's not the right understanding. It says material existence is realized in forms, right? But knowledge of the absolute does not mean that you negate this entire material, necessary negation of material manifestation, but understanding of spiritual existence as it is, right? So it's not so much that, okay, so many forms in this world are distracting me. Okay, no, 90, 90, 90, 90, and then I'll come formless. No, that's not the understanding. We understand the temporary nature of the material world. At the same time, we have to understand the spiritual nature of the absolute truth, right? It's not that here it is form, therefore they're formless. No, that's not the right understanding. There is a different form. It's a spiritual form, which is not material, right? It's a different dimension altogether, and it cannot be understood just by our negation of our material understanding. Okay. Okay, that is 36. Okay, so we'll continue 37. Are there any questions up to this point in the last 3 verses? Or any comments?
About I have a question about you said that while we do our seva, if our mind is always fixed on Krishna, and sometime when we may be doing seva, like you were saying that, like you're so focused on something like practical, like, oh, how to fill the tires of whatever it is that we're doing, like a practical thing, then we may not be able to think about Krishna because we're so absorbed in doing the thing. So how is that? How do we do that?
So, like, that was my question, like, how people said, like, like you could chant the holy name while you are doing a seva, or we can see Krishna's hand. Like, let's say, we are doing a seva and there's some obstacle. We can see that, oh, this is Krishna's hand. He's putting this obstacle so that some particular anartha in my heart is actually taken away. So while doing the seva, we get so absorbed in things, but while, like, okay, yeah, we are absorbed in doing this, doing this, doing this. But, it is a matter of conscious development where we are actually trying to, okay, yeah, I'm getting absorbed in this, but am I really thinking about Krishna or not? Then consciously we have to turn and say, no, Krishna, actually you gave me this seva, I'm doing this for your pleasure. You gave me this. So it's like consciously one has to change the mood to that, connect it to Krishna. Either the circumstance itself, what obstacles are coming, you connect that to Krishna, or while we are doing the seva, we are chanting the holy name and somehow remembering, connecting that to Krishna. So somehow that connection to Krishna, we have to like consciously develop, So
Thank you.
anyone else would like to add any points? I think we already mentioned this, right? Yeah. Okay, anything else? Okay.
Prabhuji, I really like the point that you said that every year, maybe during the Vyas Puja or Guru, we can think about how I can increase the quality and the quantity of my seva.
Very practical point. Thank you. Prabhuji,
in text 34, in the translation, it says like, since you have decided to increase the population innumerably. It's like it's Brahma's desire to create the living entities, Prabhuji, or the Lord's desire to release from them from the abdomen of Vishnu and then give them the opportunity to reform. So,
so both, right? I mean, see, Brahma's desire is in line with the desire of Krishna.
okay.
That's the whole point, because Brahma is not desiring something which is against the will of it. It is like, this is the Lord's plan. And what does Krishna tell Arjun in Bhagavad Gita? Nimitra matra bhavya sabhi. You become my instrument. My plan is there, that I'm already going to kill all these people. Except for you, Pandavas, everyone is going to. You become an instrument and you get the credit. I want you to become famous. So understanding the Lord's plan, which is actually revealed by the Guru, and then became an instrument of that. And as soon as we do that, then Krishna says, Mad Anugraha. His mercy is always there, the service will increase, and
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. And that point, Guru Vyasapuja, thinking what I have done and what can be done next year. That's so amazing, Prabhu. It's very practical and it will help us to increase.
yes.
Thank you so much.
Like many times in our journey, it's like, oh, 10 years before I was doing this, and now after 10 years, I'm still doing the same thing. Like, we have to increase, because we are trying to purify ourselves. That means our service should increase. And maybe that also means like it could be we're doing this seva and now we are doing a totally different seva, but and maybe more responsibility we are taking in Prabhupada's movement. We should see all those points. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, one question, Prabhu. In the last sloka, Krishna says that I'm not made of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements. So 5 I know, but what are those 3 that Krishna is talking about?
Yeah, 3 subtle elements means how Bhagavad Gita Krishna actually says, right? Bhumi, Apor, Nalo, Vayu, Kham, Mano, Buddhir, Evacha, Ahankara, Itiyam, Bhinna, Prakritir, Astada. So what are the 8? So 5 we know, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then mind, intelligence, false ego. Those 3.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So Krishna does not have a material mind. He does not have material intelligence. He doesn't have false ego. So when we understand Krishna beyond all these, then we are understanding the transcendental form of the Lord. Okay. Anything else?
I have another question. So how to get over the fear of like, oh, Krishna, because maybe we already feel like we are at our limit of seva and like, oh, asking Krishna for more, we may feel like, oh, how can I ask Krishna for more? Because I already feel I have a lot. So
like if you have a lot, if our quantity, like, we can say like, okay, I'm going through my day is so packed up with seva, I have no time. Then we can try to increase the quality of our seva. That means whatever we are doing, can we be more conscious of Krishna while we are doing the seva? Can we really go deeper and, while we are offering the seva, think about Krishna, like how is Krishna receiving pleasure by the seva? Increase our quality of seva if our quantity is already like so packed, right? We can, and there's no limit to how much we can increase in that mood. So that's always there. Okay, so let's take a break. So we'll take a 5 minutes break and then we'll come back and continue the remaining shlokas. Hare Krishna.
Vishnu Krishna.
time, a little louder. One more time, very loudly, with your heart. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please come back and continue. We're almost in the last section of this chapter. Okay, so let's continue with text number 37.
Tubhyam madvichikitsayam atma me darshito bahi nalena shalile moolam pushkarasya vichinvataha. Gopinath
When you were contemplating whether there was a source to the stem of the lotus of your birth, and you even entered into that stem, you could not trace out anything. But at that time, I manifested my form from within.
So basically, in the previous verse, Krishna said that though I am very difficult to be known, I have actually revealed myself to you, and hence you can understand my true form. And here further, he's saying that when Brahmaji was Tubhyam Mat Vichik, it's 37, right? Yeah, Tubhyam Mat Vichiksayam. So when you are trying to know, so we read how in the previous chapter, Brahma, he actually, when he appeared on the lotus, he didn't realize who he was. And then what did he do? He walked down the stem of the lotus. Right? He's saying so Krishna is saying when you were actually doing that, walking down the stem, and you could not trace out, Atma me darshitaha, then I actually manifested my form to you, right? From within and also externally. I showed you my spiritual form within and also this form as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. You're seeing both of this, but that is only my causeless mercy. My causeless mercy. So, there's a very important point that there is actually nothing that we can do to, how should I say this? So when we are engaging in different activities of devotional service, we are chanting our rounds, we are hearing Bhagavatam, one way Yes, these are activities of devotional service, and the Lord is attracted by bhakti. Here, the point that Krishna is saying that one may put all his endeavors. Finally, it is only when Krishna decides that I want to show myself to this person, then can we actually see him. You know, like Prabhupada in the purport, he makes this point. Krishna is experienced only by his causeless mercy. Like from Krishna should decide, okay, this person is doing so much sadhana and all these things, and at one particular point, Krishna said, okay, I'm going to reveal myself to so and so extent. You know. So from our side, it's like one way we can do these activities, but finally it has to be from Krishna's side that he should come and say, okay, I want to reveal myself. Right? So here Krishna is saying, you put all these efforts, but finally it was I only who actually made myself visible to you. So Prabhupada says, one sentence in the purport, he says, yeah. So he says, the Lord can be appreciated only by submissive devotional service, right? But the sentence doesn't stop at that point. One may say, yeah, that's it, right? I mean, the Lord can be appreciated by submissive devotional service. But the sentence is not complete because it says it continues when he reveals himself before the devotee. So Krishna has to, at some point, he says that, okay, I want to reveal, and that's when it actually happens, right? So, and then further Prabhupada says, like Krishna is seen from within by spiritual eyes, which is opened by the ointment of love. As long as one's spiritual eyes are closed by the dirty covering of matter, one cannot see the Lord. Right? So Lord was satisfied with Brahma's penance and devotion, and hence he actually revealed himself to Brahmaji. Right? You understand the point? Like there's one example, one story that a devotee says. He says like one person met a millionaire, right? And he asked that person, "Oh, how did you become a millionaire?" Mm. And the person said, "Well, I actually sell apples." I was like, "How can you become a millionaire by selling apples?" Said, "Can you elaborate? How you became a millionaire?" He said, "I actually purchased one apple, and then I went and I sold that for a profit. And then with that profit, I purchased 2 apples. And then I took those 2 apples and then sold them for a profit. And then when I got the profit, I purchased 4 apples. And then with that, I sold them, got more profit." The person is thinking, how 1 apple, 2 apples? How can you become a millionaire by doing all this? And I find the story very instructive. And then, the person said, okay, 4 apples, then 8 apples, then 16 apples. It's like, how can you become a millionaire by selling all this? Right? And then finally he said, and I was doing this for quite some time. And then I used to go to the same place to sell it. And once, when I went to the same place to sell my apples, there was one person who was sitting there. He came to me and he said, I see you every day consistently. You're coming and doing your, selling these apples, getting little profit. I am a millionaire and I'm going to leave my body. And I want to see who I can give my property. I don't have any relatives to actually give this. And I see your dedication and I want to give it to you. And the person said, that's how I became a millionaire. And I find the story like very instructive in the sense that, what is our bhakti? We do little chanting, and then that also chanting, we be distracted, we are falling asleep, maybe, And, what is art? It's only like tiny drops, But how can we expect like that million, just that comparison, that special gift of bhakti? How can we expect? It's just that small, our commitment, our little thing. And then at some point, like the millionaire said, oh, I have all this $1 million. You please take it. Krishna will just say, okay, here, you're following Prabhupada, you're doing all these baby steps. Here, you take it. And similarly here, what is Brahma's effort? Going down the step, finding up, and then he did austerity. How can the Krishna be conquered by that? But Krishna himself said, okay, you're doing all this, here, take, I reveal myself. So finally, it has to come from Krishna's side, and that's the whole point of this one. Okay, text 38. See, actually, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he further explains this point. He says, the cause of seeing me is not worship or meditation, because these are not mentioned here at all. The cause of seeing me is my desire only. It has to come from Krishna's side. So it is only Krishna's desire. Okay, 38.
Yachakartanga mat stotram madkatabhyu madkatabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishta sa esha mad anugraha.
O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted, praising the glories of my, my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy.
So here he's particularly using the word anga. Anga is actually a very affectionate form of saying, oh my dear son. So like here he's saying, oh my dear Brahma. And what is he saying? Yet cha karta, everything that you have performed, karta, mat stotram. And what does Brahma do? Mat stotram, the prayers that Brahma chanted, mat katha abudaya ankitam, the words that we have spoken glorified my form. Like in the starting, Brahma starts off by glorifying the form of the Lord, right? Then he actually offers prayers. And yet tapasi, you perform so many penances to actually understand me. Te nishta, right? Your faith, all of these are actually my causeless mercy. Like everything is Krishna's causeless mercy. Krishna, Brahma's activity, his prayers, his words, his penance, his faith, everything is Krishna's causeless mercy. Then what does a jiva actually have to do? If everything is Krishna's mercy, what does a jiva actually do? What is the answer to this question?
Desire.
Yeah, so Prabhupada starts off saying, when a living entity desires to serve the Lord, that's it. For the jiva, our main thing is we should have the desire. If we have the desire, then the Lord's causeless mercy actually continues the rest of the process. Right? So when we have a desire to serve the Lord, then what happens? Normally, if our desire is strong, normally our desire is weak. And hence we have to like say, okay, I have this desire to serve Krishna, but also I have a desire to do this, right? Our desires are not strong. So our desire should be accompanied with a level of discipline. That, okay, I want to progress in my Krishna consciousness. That means I have to make these changes in my life. I should be disciplined. And to actually be disciplined, we need determination, right? So it is desire, discipline, determination, 3 Ds, and then 4th D is the devotion, which comes from Krishna, right? But it starts off from the desire. And when we actually desire, that's the jiva, what he does, then even that discipline, the determination, devotion, it is all Krishna's mercy upon us. It's all Krishna's mercy. Hence, actually, everything we are made of Krishna's mercy. So, like how oftentimes before a speaker gives a class, he quotes this verse: "Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim." What does that mean? Mukam karoti vachalam. A person who does not know how to speak may speak very eloquently. Right? Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate giram. Giram means mountain. A person who is a lame person can cross big mountains. How? Yat kripa tamham vande. Just by the causeless mercy. So everything that we are progressing in spiritual life is actually a causeless mercy of the Lord. From our side, it's our desire. Krishna, I want to somehow come close to you. I really want to serve you. If we have that desire, then everything is actually Krishna's mercy. Krishna will give us opportunity to serve. He'll give us strength. He'll give us discipline. He'll give us determination. And finally, he'll give us devotion unto him. But we have to have the strong desire. Right? So Prabhupada says, as when the jiva desires, then the Lord helps him from within as Chaitya Guru. Therefore, the devotee can perform many wonderful activities beyond material estimation. Like how the previous verse, what did it say? There is no limit to the Lord's mercy upon a person. So similarly, Prabhupada is repeating that point here and saying that when the jiva has a strong desire, and then the perseverance and penance, those were two aspects that were mentioned, that is all Krishna's mercy, right? That's all Krishna's mercy. And when Krishna's mercy comes, there is no limit to what seva a devotee can do. Right? Okay, so spiritual perfection is developed by dint of one's sincere endeavor to render transcendental service. So that sincerity. How often do we hear the word sincerity, right? So from the jiva side, it is a point of that sincere desire that yes, I want to do this, I want to do this, right? Yeah. So and further Prabhupada says, the voluntary endeavor is the only qualification and it is not limited by material qualifications. That the voluntary, we have to just say, yes, Krishna, I want to serve you. I want to engage in your service. Okay, okay, 39.
Pritoham astu badram te lokanam vijayechaya yad asto shir gunamayam nirgunam manuvarnayan. Ashish Prabhu.
I am very much pleased by your description of me in terms of my transcendental qualities, which appear mundane to the mundanes. I grant you all benedictions in your desire to glorify all the planets by your activities.
So this verse starts with what? Pritaha. Pritaha means I am pleased. Right? So Krishna is actually saying, I am pleased, aham, right? I'm very pleased with you, and hence badramte. Badram means let there be all auspiciousness to you, right? So why is the Lord pleased? If we go back to the previous verse, because Brahma actually, he had the desire, I want to serve, I want to act according to the plan of the Lord, right? I want to do this creation, right? So hence all auspicious, let's all badramte, everything be auspicious for you. Lokanam Vijaya Ichaya. Why all auspiciousness? Why I am pleased? Because you have the desire to glorify, right? Lokana, like planets, or create all these planets, like Vijaya Ichaya. So because you have a desire to create all these planets, and the main point here is Austuki Gunamayam. And you prayed saying my form, right? Gunamayam is the ocean of wondrous qualities, and Nirgunam is devoid of material qualities like Sattva-guna. Ma Anu Varnayam. Right? So the main point here is, why is Krishna pleased with Brahma? Because in his prayers, he actually glorified the form of Krishna, saying that, oh my Lord. Right? You remember the starting few verses of this chapter where Brahma actually glorified the personal form of the Lord. And he's saying, because you glorified that form as that form which is free from all material qualities, right? Even Sattva Guna, it is free from all qualities, and how it is an abode of ocean of unlimited qualities. And because you described me in that way, I am so pleased with you. Right? Now, if one may say that, what kind of person is this? If someone, if you go to your boss and you praise your boss, oh boss, you're this, and the boss says, oh, because you praise me, here, bonus check. Because you understood who I am, here, bonus check. That seems like that appears that the boss is like very like a egoistic person, like thinks like, oh, if people praise me, then that means you have really understood me, right? But Krishna is not like that. Krishna is actually an ocean of all qualities. And when anyone appreciates the qualities of Krishna and glorifies Krishna's qualities, Krishna himself is attracted to that glorification. Krishna himself is attracted to the words of his devotees. Krishna himself is attracted to the mood of devotion. And hence he is actually pleased by bhakti. Right? And who is actually the devotion? Who is that devotion? That is actually the manifestation, the highest form of the bhakti we see in Srimati Radharani. So one way when anyone is actually engaging in that devotion to the Lord, glorifying the Lord, he is actually doing something under the shelter of Srimati Radharani. And hence Krishna is so pleased. So there's a whole science behind this. Why Krishna is pleased when his glories are actually spoken. He's not like an egoistic person that, oh, now you're praising me, that's what, here, bonus. No, it's not like that. Krishna is actually conquered by that mood of bhakti of a devotee. Right? And here Krishna is saying, because you pray to me as that, oh, my form is an ocean of wondrous qualities, I am very pleased with you. Hence, Badramte, all auspiciousness to you. Okay. And then further, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is making the point, let be all auspiciousness for those who praise me like this, who actually praise, oh Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, right? His Vigraha is what? Satchit Ananda. Anyone who praises the Lord like this, let there be all auspiciousness. But let there be no auspiciousness for those who say that I am Brahman, I am devoid of qualities. I am nirguna, right? So those who say, the Mayavadis say, oh, finally Krishna, he's just light. He's just Brahman. He's just spiritual energy. And here Vishwanath Chakravarti says, so Krishna is indicating, for them, no Badramte. Let that be not auspicious because they are actually minimized my true form. So let there be no auspiciousness for them. Right. So Prabhupada in the purport, he actually explains so nicely. He says, a pure devotee always desires that the Lord be known all over the universe by each and everyone. So we already discussed this point. What is the mood of a devotee? He wants everyone to know about Krishna. Because the cause of the suffering of every living entity is their lack of their knowledge of Krishna. As soon as one knows Krishna, then everything is auspicious. Right? So a pure devotee always desires that. Let everyone know. Receive Bhagavatam, learn about Krishna, learn about, the Lord, the Supreme Personality. And this desire is always blessed by the Lord. Why? Because even the Lord wants everyone to actually connect back to Him. How we read in the first canto, second chapter, the Lord desires all the living entities to come back to Him more than even the living entities can desire. Right? So the Lord desires everything. And if anyone actually propagates this knowledge about Krishna, shares this knowledge, then he becomes very dear to the Lord. This desire is always blessed by the Lord. Okay. So Prabhupada also says, impersonalists, they pray for the mercy to the Lord. The impersonalists, they pray, oh Lord, you are the embodiment of Sattva Guna. Right? What do the Mayavadis say? The Mayavadis say that finally the Lord of the conception of the Lord is impersonal Brahmajyoti. And when he comes and he shows a form in this material world, that is the embodiment of Sattva Guna. And hence that form is material. Right? Hence you have to go beyond that form. But that's not the understanding. So here it says that Prabhupada is saying the impersonalists, they may say the Lord is the embodiment of Sattva Guna, but that is not pleasing to the Lord. That is minimizing the glory of the Lord. Hence, the Lord is not pleased with them. Okay. And text 40 is the Phal Shruti. Go ahead.
Ya etena puman nityan sutva shotrena mam bhajet tasyashu samprasidyayam sarvakama vareshvaraha.
Any human being who prays like Brahma and who thus worships me shall very soon be blessed with the fulfillment of all his desires, for I am the Lord of all benediction. Hare Krishna.
So this is like, when in different sections of the Bhagavatam, we read a particular pastime and that pastime ends with like Phala Shruti. And because this chapter is so important, here we have the Phala Shruti. And who is speaking this? Krishna himself is giving the Phala Shruti. And what does he say? He says, who is he? He is Vareshwara, right? Ishvara, Vara Ishvara. Right? He is the word Ishvara for the Lord. Vara Ishvara means he is the Lord of all the benedictions. Right? So he's saying, as I am the Lord of all the benedictions, I will fulfill all the desires of one who actually offers these prayers like you. like how Brahma has prayed. If we pray to the Lord every day like this, right, then the Lord is actually very pleased with that, and he will soon bless with all fulfillment, with the fulfillment of all his desires. Like all one's desires will be actually sarva kama vara ishvara. All desires will actually be fulfilled. Right? And asu means very soon. Right? So one may say, that okay, every day I'm going to pray to the Lord, right? Maybe some materialist, he reads the shloka, like we give Bhagavatam to so many people. Let's say by chance he reads the section of Bhagavatam. He says like, oh, if I read this, if I pray like how Brahma has done, then all what will happen? Sarva kama vara ishvara. All my desires will be fulfilled. And I have a long desire list. So all the desires will be fulfilled, right? So maybe every day I should chant these prayers. What is the problem with that?
The desire should be to satisfy the Lord in service.
Okay, but still, that's not the answer to my question is like, if someone has full of desires, is full of material desires, and he reads this Falashruti and says like, if you chant these prayers, then all your desires will be fulfilled.
He's also saying, worship me.
Okay,
It is not connected to any service of the Lord, his prayers.
the prayers are not connected to service of the Lord. That's what you said.
Yes, and does not please the Lord.
Okay, so Prabhupada actually he addresses exactly the same point in purport. He says these prayers cannot be chanted by anyone who desires to fulfill sense gratification. It's not that, oh, I have this long desire, material desire list, and I'll chant these prayers. No, you may chant it, but that will only be mechanical. You're not really connecting to Krishna. You're not really actually praying like how Brahma has prayed. So this is actually particularly making the point. You have to pray how Brahma has prayed. And hence Prabhupada says, he cannot fulfill the whims of non-devotees, even when such casual devotees offer him the best of prayers. Right? He cannot. So, I mean, he fulfills the desires in regard to transcendental loving service. Right? So when that mood of bhakti is there, then the Lord is praised. Yes, we can chant these prayers, but we should do it in the mood of devotion, in the mood of bhakti. Then the Lord is pleased and he'll fulfill all our spiritual desires. Right? So yes, the intention is very crucial. Right? Why are we praying to the Lord? Right? The Lord it's not like a mechanical thing. With demigods, it may be mechanical. You do so and so puja and so benefit. But with the Lord, He's Bhavagrahi Janardhan. He sees the bhav behind our prayers. Right? And with that, He reciprocates. Okay.
So,
40.
Prabhu, what will be the spiritual desires actually, apart from coming back and going to the lotus feet of Radhe Krishna or Goloka?
Yeah, what kind of spiritual desires one may have? Well, our main thing is it's yes, one way desire to go back home, back to Godhead. That desire is there, but beyond that, our desire is to always serve the Lord. Like how we are discussing that the mood of a devotee is to increase his service to the Lord. So and there's so many desires one can have. One can have the desire like Krishna, so many people are suffering in this material world. Let them get Krishna Bhakti. That's the only way that they can actually get free from all the suffering. One can have that kind of desire, or one can have the desire that please always, like in Bhagavatam again and again, we say like, even if you want to send me, like, you want me to take again birth and birth, I don't care as long as I am always in the association of devotees. And then, so we can have so many spiritual desires, and it's like very personal, like when we talk of love, yesterday this point was being discussed, and when we talk of love in a relationship, even if your love is pure, you will have desires, but desires in such a way to please the other person. So in material desires, who is the focus? We are the focus. In spiritual desire, we have so many desires, but the desires for Krishna. So someone may have a desire, Krishna, I want to build a beautiful temple for you. No? What is that desire? That's a spiritual desire because you want to say, oh, Krishna, you are the Lord of the whole, you are Lord of all the three planetary systems. You are actually the supreme. I want to build a temple for you. I want to serve you. I want to engage in your deity service. Give me this opportunity to do the seva, right? And it's all for your pleasure. So many spiritual desires. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay, so that completes, after this Falshruti, we completed the second section of Krishna's reply. And now is the final section, 41 to 43. Okay, so any comments on this last section? I mean, the second section, and we'll go to the last one.
How do we understand that statement, Prabhuji, in regards to akama, sarva kama hours? The statement from Prabhupada.
In this last purport, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, the first line.
Yeah, so the point here is that, this verse is saying that if one fulfills, one offers prayers in the mood of Brahma, then all his desires will be fulfilled. So Prabhupada is making the point that those are spiritual desires. It's not material desire. So when you say akama, the point, sarva kama, a person full of material desire, still he should turn to Krishna, right? Now, when he turns to Krishna, right, there's an entire section in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We discussed in one of the classes where this comes in Madhya Lila, where Krishna actually says, when a person with material desire, he actually worships me to fulfill the material desires. What does Krishna say? Krishna actually says that, he is actually asking for all these material desires. That's not very intelligent because that's so temporary. But I am not foolish. And I will actually give his desires in such a way that he becomes purified of those desires. So, yes, Krishna reciprocates with those who are sarva kamis also, but he'll reciprocate in a way that those kama is actually taken away. Right? But here it is made the point that if one actually worships the Lord in these prayers, then spiritual desires will actually be fulfilled. Right? So the mood of the akama sarvakama verse is whatever is your situation, turn to Krishna. And the mood of this verse is when we pray to Krishna in the right mood, then all our spiritual desires will actually be fulfilled. So it's like the context of the verse is different. In that it is whatever is your, if you are sarvakama, still turn to Krishna. Here it is, if you are worshiping Krishna in the right mood, then Krishna will fulfill all your desires to serve him. So, does that help, Prabhu?
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, so let's do last 3 verses are there, or 4 verses. So 41.
Purtena tapasa yagyar danar yoga samadhina radham nishreyasam pumsam matpritis tatvavin matam.
Hare Krishna. Translation. It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction. Hare Krishna.
So here is saying Tattvavit Matam. Matam means the opinion of who? Tattvavit. Those who are transcendentalists, who are expert transcendentalists. What is their opinion? Neha Shreyasam, right? The ultimate goal and benefit of, and he lists 5 different items. Purtena. Purtena means traditional good work. Tapasa, penances. Yajna, sacrifices. Dana, charity. Yoga, mysticism. All these words. What is the ultimate goal of all these? Mat priti, my satisfaction. If all these activities are done for the satisfaction of Krishna, then they are actually meaningful. Otherwise, what is the use of all these activities? Right? So, Prabhupada in the purport, he makes a point that all of these can be fully beneficial only when they lead to samsiddhir haritoshana. What is that verse? Ata pumbir dvijashreshta varnashrama vibhaksa swanasthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshana. Right? So all our activities, if we are done with the intention of giving pleasure to the Lord, to satisfy the Lord, then Prabhupada says that is the secret of all success. Right? Example he gives is Arjun. Arjuna in the starting of Bhagavad Gita, he wanted to act in such a way for his own satisfaction. In the sense he was thinking like, oh, all these people will die, then I'll feel, how can we actually even survive when all these people are killed? But then later on, after hearing the knowledge, he said, no. What is important is what gives pleasure to Krishna. What satisfies Krishna? That is the real point. So here it says, even one may do a lot of penances, lot of sacrifices, lot of charities, or whatever one does, unless it gives satisfaction to Krishna, it is actually Shama eva hi kevalam. Right? Shama eva hi kevalam. Okay. Right. Okay. So next verse 42.
Aham atmatmanam dhata preta san prayasam api ato mayi ratim kuryad dehadir yat krite priyaha.
Hare Krishna. I am the super soul of every individual. I am the supreme director and the dearest. People are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me only.
So Krishna is concluding his points, and he is one way reminding Brahma. What is he reminding Brahma? That this entire task of creation, you're going to give bodies to so many living entities, but don't forget that the whole purpose of creation is for everyone to realize that who is the dearest of all? It is Paramatma. That's the whole purpose of creation, is to realize that the whole dearest is actually Paramatma. And to remind that, he actually says that Krishna is saying, Aham, I am what? Atma Atmana. I am the super soul of every living entity. Then further he says, I am the Dhataha, I am the director, and then Preshtaha, I am the dearest, right? Dearest of all dear things is actually Krishna himself. This is the whole purpose of creation, for everyone to realize that the dearest of all dear is actually Krishna. And then he says, Mai Ratim Kurya. Therefore, everyone should have that Rati for me. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Prabhupada elaborates on this point. What does Krishna mean by saying that one must have Rati for me? Right? Kuryat, one must have Rati. Isn't that Rati a gift that is given when one actually engages in devotion? What does it mean that Krishna says one must have attachment to me? Okay? And then I'll come back to this point. And then further he says, Dehade yat krite priyaha. It is only because our dearest of all attachments is our dearest of all dear is the Paramatma. Do we have attachment for our Deha and Adi? That means the body and the mind. Right? So the body and the mind become dear to a person only because of the Paramatma. How do we understand this? The body and the mind become dear to a person only because of the Paramatma. Hence, the dearest of all dear is the Paramatma. Can anyone think about this point?
Actually, I was thinking about Kayana Vacha Mansandhya. If we use our body and mind in the service of Krishna, then it we can lay down.
Okay. But
Prabhuji, when
Yeah.
sorry,
Go ahead.
Prabhuji, when like a person when the Paramatma leaves the soul, the super soul, when it leaves the body, then it's like no, we don't keep the body anymore. In fact, we don't even refer to body as like the person. We just say that okay, and we like whatever we cremate or do
Yes.
that. So all the dearness, everything association is with the Paramatma, and not with body.
That's a good point. So that's a good flow. That's the point the Prabhupada makes in purport. He says, Paramatma is the dearest, both in the conditioned and in the liberated. Right? So liberated is easy to understand, right? Liberated state, what is the answer there? That, yes, we are Atma and we have a relationship with the Paramatma, right? Krishna says, Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, that everyone is eternally connected with me. So those who are liberated, they can directly understand that our source is actually Krishna. And hence our goal in life is to actually revive that dearest relationship, right? Liberated state, we can understand, right? So Prabhupada talks about that in the purport. Mamai Vamso, real reason is Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke. Living entities are eternally parts and parcel, and the living entity is Atma. The Lord is who? Paramatma. Living entity is Brahman, and the Lord is who? Parabrahman. So there's an intimate relationship between the Jiva and the Lord. And liberated state, one realizes that relationship, and hence the Lord is the dearest. But now, how do we understand for those who are conditioned? For them also the dearest of all dear is actually Paramatma, right? So Prabhupada actually explains. So he said this is a spectrum. Real reason we talked about. On the other side are the conditioned living entities. And he says the attachment for one's body and children, relatives, is actually developed because of the jiva. How Mataji was nicely explaining that when the jiva leaves the body, then people don't even want to go close to that person. The body is right there, but people say, "Oh, he's dead. It's a dead body. It's not auspicious going close to him, being near a dead body." So, what is one actually attracted to? The Atma. And because of the Atma's presence in the body, hence there is attachment for the body. And hence there is attachment for relatives. So finally, who is actually the dearest of all? Atma. But the Atma is, the presence of the Atma here is only because of the presence of the Paramatma. Right? The Atma is always connected to the Paramatma. Hence, even in the conditioned state, so Prabhupada makes the point, therefore the living spark is the real basis of affection and not the body. Right? So that's the first point. And then further he actually says, and the living entities are parts of the whole living entity. Therefore, the supreme living entity is the factual basis of affection for all. So whether one is in a conditioned state or in the liberated state, the dearest of all dear is actually the Paramatma. Right? And hence Krishna is actually reminding Brahma that for all jivas, the dearest of all is actually Paramatma. Right? And then coming back to the point, why does it say one must have rati? Right? One must have rati. So the next point that Prabhupada explains in the purport is he says that each one of us, we already have that relationship with the Paramatma. Is this something new relationship we are establishing? No. The relationship is already there, right? So the example very nicely Prabhupada gives is like a wealthy person has $1 million, but still he's living a poor life. Similarly, each one of us, we have that rati for Krishna, but because we have forgotten, we are actually staying like a poor person. So hence this verse, Krishna is reminding Brahma that one must have it. One must have it because it already exists and it just needs to be revealed or reawakened or uncovered, right? Uncovered. That rati has to be uncovered. Prabhupada says the rich miser does not know how to utilize his wealth, and therefore, in spite of being so rich, his miserly behavior keeps him like a poor person. On the other hand, a person who knows how to utilize the wealth can quickly become a rich man, even with a small credit. Another example, very nicely. Both these examples are from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Prabhupada gives the other one, the example of the eye and the sun. Right? So, a very nice example. Can the eye see without the sun? No. Right? Because there's no light. Your eyes may be still open, you cannot see anything. So we are seeing because of the sun, right? But if a person has no affection for the sun, he may see the sun and say like, "Oh, why is the sun disturbing me? I want to sleep more. Why is the sun disturbing me?" Right? Or he may see the sun shining bright and say, oh, why is it so sunny today? It should just be cloudy. Right? So that is the state of the conditioned living entity, that even though he cannot see anything without the sun, because he has no affection for the sun, he's actually, when the sunshine is bright, he actually kind of says like, oh, this is so much problem. But it is only because of the Paramatma that the living entity can even survive. Similarly, it is only because of the sun that the eyes are actually able to see. Right? So that's the second example. So in all circumstances, one should try to develop love of Godhead, and that will solve all contending problems. So everyone understands this point? How the dearest of all, both in the condition and in the liberated state, is actually Paramatma. And Krishna is reminding Brahma, the entire purpose of creation, so many living entities, all for all of them, the dearest of all dear is Paramatma. So you create in such a way that they can actually connect back to the dearest of all, the Paramatma or Krishna himself. Okay, 43. These are two more verses. Let's stop.
Prabhu,
Yes, ma'am.
I was thinking maybe in the same connection of Rati, why is Krishna saying? Because could we think that this place is anyways a place of reformatory, right?
Yeah.
So the purpose of creation is to remind us about our Rati to Paramatma.
Yes.
And for that, he has to create a world which is a Sashvatam and Dukhalam, so that we are detached from this material world, because we cannot have attachment to Krishna unless we are detached from this material world. This goes together, right, Prabhu? It's not like a sequence,
Yes.
right? So this could also be an understanding to create
Yeah. To create the world in such a way that it
that
would
would
always
automatically.
remind the jiva of his Rati to Krishna. Yes,
Yeah.
very yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mati. Good point. So let's just two more verses. We'll complete this chapter. 43.
Sarva Veda Mayenedham Atmanatmatmam Yonina Prajasrija Yata Purvam Yascha Mayanu Sherate.
By following my instructions, you can now generate the living entities as before by dint of your complete Vedic wisdom and the body you have directly received from me, the supreme cause of everything.
So here he's saying, therefore he's concluding and saying, Sarva Meda Mayena. Now you have received the complete Vedic wisdom, and your Atmana, here referring to the body, is also directly born from me. So your body is actually born from me. Your Vedic wisdom I have given you. So you have everything to do what? Prajasrija Yatha Purvam. You can create as you created in the previous day. Right? As it was before, now you have everything you need to actually do the task of creation. And Prabhupada, further, he actually says the supreme cause of everything. Right? So he actually is one way reminding that finally, while you're doing your creation, you are going to be the creator of this the entire 14 planetary systems. But do not forget, the supreme creator is who? Krishna himself. I am the supreme creator. Right? Supreme cause of everything. Right? So there's no, Prabhupada doesn't give a purport to this. Right? Okay, and the last verse.
Maitreya Uvacha Tasma Evam Jagat Shrashte Pradhana Purusheshvaraha Vyajyedyam Svena Rupena Kanjanabhastirodade. The sage Maitreya said, after instructing Brahma, the creator of the universe, to expand, the primeval Lord, the personality of Godhead in his personal form as Narayan, disappeared.
Right. So this is the final concluding verse of this chapter. So now Maitreya Rishi is speaking. So up to text 43 is actually Krishna speaking. And what is the final thing? He says, the body is given by me, knowledge is given by me, you have everything. Create, remembering I am the supreme creator. Do the task. He's given the final. Okay, do it. Just do it. And then here, Maitreya Vacha, Tasma Eva Jagat Shrashte. So after instructing Brahma, the creator of this universe, Jagat Shrishte, then Pradhana Purusha Ishvara. So in the previous verse, when Prabhupada said the cause of all causes, as the supreme cause, here Maitreya Rishi is actually referring to that. Oh, yes, he is going to be a Jagat Shrishti, but do not forget the real cause is Pradhana Purusha Ishvara, the Lord of all lords, the supreme personality of Godhead. He is actually the Narayan, and after instructing Vyaja Idam, then Rupena Kanjanabha Tirodade. This personality, Tirodade, means he disappeared. He gave the instructions and then he disappeared. Now, Prabhupada actually makes this point, and he focuses on the point of disappear, making the point that how in Chatushloki Bhagavatam, what is the first of some? Aham evasam evagre. The Lord existed before the creation. How do we know that? Because Brahma is now wanting to create, but he meditated and the Lord appeared and the Lord disappeared. That means the Lord already exists. So aham evasam evagre. The Lord is always eternally present. He, irrespective of the creation, comes, becomes manifest, stays for some time, disappears, but the Lord is always eternally present. Right? Therefore, he disappeared, and then that's how this chapter ends. Okay. Okay. So that is chapter number 9. So it's a very wonderful point, and especially for like the mood of seva, how we should pray, and while we are doing the seva, what should be our mood of seva. I feel like this chapter is very, very powerful. So we actually spent more than 2 classes on this chapter just because every section is so powerful. Okay, so we'll stop here and we'll continue next week. And chapter numbers 10 and 11. Actually, if you see, they're technical, but it's easy. So I think 10 and 11 will actually go very quickly. So next class we can complete 10 and maybe even do 11, because it's like shorter purports and it's more of divisions of creation and then the aspects of time. So with Subodhini's, it's like they're nice flow charts. It'll make it easy to go through 10 and 11, and then we'll continue after. Okay. So before I stop and take some reflections, I want to mention, so this is our second section of the third canto. So chapter numbers 5 all the way to 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 5 chapters. So we'll have our closed book exam on these 5 chapters. So today is the 7th. So I was thinking on the 20th, right? 20th. Saturday, we can have the closed book exam for this. And also, a few of you have submitted the essay for the first part of third canto, but those who have not done it, please do it. And I was thinking, as a rule, whenever we have a closed book exam, you can just add 2 weeks to that and mark that as a deadline for the essay. Right? So almost 2 weeks from now is the closed book exam, and then 2 weeks from that would be the deadline for the essay for these 5 chapters. Okay. Is that okay? So any reflections, any final points from this chapter before we stop? Or any points about the exam or essay, anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Go ahead, Mataji.
After you, Mataji, please go.
I really like this 4 points. You said desire, discipline, determination, and devotion will invoke the mercy of the Lord.
Thank you. Thank you. So 4D formula we can always remember. Thank you. Anyone else? Vrindavan, your last minute.
Prabhuji, you said that the whole science is Krishna is conquered by bhakti only. So we can focus on these 4Ds, but ultimately everything is possible by Krishna's mercy.
Yes. Thank you. Anyone else? Final points?
Prabhuji, like Krishna is the Lord of everything. That is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, seeing Krishna, like how that point of basic principle of Krishna consciousness from that Yomam Pashyati verse, what does Prabhupada say? Seeing Krishna everywhere and seeing everything in Krishna is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Right? Thank you. Okay. Okay. So thank you all so much. So we'll stop here. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
No.
Thank you all so much for your association. Thank you for joining this morning. Please again read through this entire chapter and the points that we have discussed, because it's like a very powerful chapter that we can imbibe in our sadhana, in our seva. Okay? So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.